thing's gonna turn. Oh, let's find out. Here it comes.
Oh, the thing I have. The whole thing turns around.
All right, folks, welcome to East Chattanooga. As you can see, you've reached the end of the railroad. This turntable is the end of our 3 miles of track donated to us by the Southern Railway. So for us to return, we're going to turn our locomotive around 180 degrees for the final trip. In order to do that, we're going to utilize our turntable that was built in 1916 by the American Bridge and Iron Foundry for the Central of Georgia Railroad. They installed it originally in their Macon, Georgia back shops facility. Quickly outgrew it. It was only 80 foot long, weighing in at 80 tons. But they outgrew the table because they were hauling bigger, longer trains, needing larger steam engines. Now our table, as I mentioned, is 80 foot long, weighing in at 80 tons. Our locomotive, Southern 5000, weighs in at 120 tons. So that's 200 tons we're going to turn here in front of you in just a moment. The trick to turning this locomotive around is right here in the center of the table. A 6 foot diameter bearing. Bo, our engineer, is going to idle the engine across. And when it gets down to this end of the table is going to drop down just a little bit. Once it passes that balance point in that bearing, just like a teeter-totter, get it just right. Every once in a while, it's not easy to do with 120 tons of heavy equipment, but he catches it just right and then teeters back and forth. You'll actually see that. So now as he brings it on the table, back in the day, they were turning steam engines into timbers. Okay, we have Southern 4501 that we use on Saturdays. We have to turn it every once in a while. But it's 85 foot long, coupler and face. So we don't necessarily care if we balance it, we just want to get it on the table. Because it's 5 feet longer than the table is. And also weighs in about 215 tons. So Southern 5000, the locomotive, our diesel electric locomotive was manufactured in 1972 by General Motors in their electromotive division. The same General Motors that makes Corvettes, Camaros, and Cadillacs also makes diesel electric locomotives. It's called a diesel electric for this reason. And that long hood behind the cab of the engineer is a 2,000 horsepower diesel engine called a prime mover. 16 cylinders, a big V16. Now, why do they call it a prime mover when it doesn't move anything? Good question. Glad you asked. What it does do is it operates 2 pieces of equipment. It operates a generator to generate 600 volts with a traction motor that is between each wheel set. Each axle of our locomotive has a traction motor. That is what turns the wheels and moves the locomotive forward or backward. It's all electric. The second piece of equipment that the prime mover operates is a air compressor for our brake systems. Okay? Now what's interesting, with the air applied, it keeps the brakes on. When the air is removed, the brakes apply. Okay? Why would that be? That's a good question, glad you asked. Because if the engine gets separated from the consist, whether it be freight or passenger, it's got to stop. So with the air coming out of the cars, the brakes are applied, keeping them on the tracks while the engine goes somewhere else. Now, what we're doing here, Jason's going to line us up on track 2. And then Jason and Bo are going to do what's called a runaround. Then we'll take the locomotive off, we're going to go down on track 2, go through a switch. Then they're going to back up onto the other end of our consist. So if you were riding in the coach on the end train on the way over, Combine 390, you're now at the front of the train. Okay? And if you're riding in the middle coach, you're going to be in the middle coach. Okay? So that's going to finish up our turntable demonstration. So as they take 5,000 on that runaround, we're going to head over to the back shops. Now we're going to cross over about 8 tracks. Please be careful walking across the tracks. There's a restroom facility after the second set of tracks on the right-hand side. Please stay on the walkway and do not climb on the curtain, please. Right this way, folks, the back shop tour.